I have been thinking about a question. How does one build a library? For me, I remember books always being around. I remember being in high school and reading a lot of horror novels, a lot of Stephen King, a lot of Dean Koontz and V.C. Andrews. But it really is when I get to Johnson C. Smith and I get those reading lists in my English courses that I start to not only get those books from the bookstore, but also start to branch out and buy additional titles by those assigned authors. But there are lots of just lifelong readers out there, and you don't need a degree, you don't need a syllabus in order to build a library. And I'm sure there are lots of different ways. And so that's what I'm curious about. How does one build a library? Now, my grandmother is somebody who always had books around, gave books as gifts, and it wasn't until she died that I realized that um, she was not just an avid reader, but there were some things that we had in common. And I'm really sorry that I don't get to talk to her about those things. But you can see here are her books behind me, and they are double rowed on each of the shelves. And they are broken down by genre. And so there are some coffee table books and some biographies. There are some history books, some sociological books. And I think for me, the biggest surprise is the literature books. Debates are really big in my family on my father's side. And so you can hear people all the time debating history, debating science, debating politics. I don't know if I've ever heard them talking about literature, but it is very clear to me that my grandmother was a fan of the arts broadly and African American literature specifically. So I am not able to talk to her about her library. Very thankful that my aunt allowed me to rescue much of my grandmother's library, but I would like to share that journey of looking through what is in her collection. A woman who graduated from high school in Philadelphia, but instilled reading into her children and then her children's children. So I invite you to come along with me on this journey, and we'll see what we find. Thanks.